The most important step towards successfully launching a product on Amazon is to set up and run your PPC campaigns correctly. In this video, we are going to be learning how do we identify the keywords around which we should be strategizing our PPC campaigns. How do we understand how much should we be spending on PPC depending on the margins that we have, and how do we actually set up our PPC campaigns. Let's get started. Welcome to the part 2 of PPC Masterclass. In the previous video, we covered how does the Amazon's ad system work. We understood what is PPC, how does the bidding system work, and all those things. We covered the different primary targeting types for automatic and manual campaigns. We understood the difference between broad, phrase, and exact match types, and how does it affect your bidding when you're setting up your PPC campaigns. So if you haven't watched that video, do watch that as well, because it will clear out all the theoretical knowledge that you need to be aware of to run your PPC campaigns successfully. When I think about keywords, I like to distribute them in two buckets: a set of primary keywords and a set of secondary keywords. For the sake of this tutorial, we are going to be considering the product drawer dividers, which are like adjustable, expandable drawer dividers that are being sold on Amazon, and it is quite a popular product with high demand. So what is a primary keyword? A primary keyword is usually the broadest keyword that will get you the most amount of search traffic towards your listing. It will have medium to low relevance to your product, because sometimes that keyword may not be directly relevant to what are you trying to sell in the market. For example, if you type in drawer dividers, you might see different kinds of drawer dividers. Some are made with wood, some are made with plastic, some are a different design. So you will see all those sorts of products when you search for drawer dividers or drawer organizers. But these are the keywords which will get you the most amount of impressions when you're running your ad on Amazon. Therefore, I consider these keywords as primary keywords, and when we are picking up the keywords in the next slide, we are going to be distributing our keywords between primary and secondary keywords. Talking about the secondary keywords, these keywords are usually a bit more specific to what you're selling. Therefore, they will have high to medium relevance to your product, because it will be more accurate to what are you trying to sell in the market in the first place. For example, if you're selling this product on Amazon, adjustable drawer dividers will be a keyword that is going to be more relevant to your product, because this will eliminate all the other options. For example, the grid-like drawer organizer that also comes in the market, which is usually used by people to organize their socks or some other small items within their drawer. Another example of a secondary keyword could be wooden drawer dividers, or for that matter, bamboo drawer dividers as well, because this is going to basically narrow down the intent for these people who are trying to search a drawer divider on Amazon, and they're specifically looking for a wooden product or a bamboo based product, which is what you're trying to sell. So as you can see, this is a bit more relevant, and therefore I like to organize these keywords as a secondary keyword. So the first question that might come in your mind right now is, how do we find these keywords? There are two simple ways to find these keywords, and we are going to be going over them in just a second. The first method is using keywords to find these keywords. Okay, so this involves a little bit of your common sense. You need to understand what your product is essentially, and then search for keywords which are related to that base keyword that you start with. The second method is to use competitors and basically hack the keywords that they are indexed for. So let's get in my computer screen and understand how do we actually find, mine, and segregate our keywords and pick the ones which we should be picking when we are just starting out and launching our product on Amazon. Alright guys, so as you can see, we have already figured out by a little bit of observation and common sense the two primary keywords that we are starting here with. Okay, so the most relevant and primary keyword for our product is a drawer divider, right? So let's understand how can we discover more keywords around this which might make sense to our product using Amazon. Okay, so we're not using any paid software at this point of time. We're basically just using Amazon, and this honestly is good enough for us to get started. So what I usually like to do to make a sense, or start curating a list of keywords, is just to hover over to Amazon search bar and type in drawer dividers. Okay, so the first thing that you'll notice over here is that the suggestions. The first suggestion on the screen is drawer divider organizer. Okay. Now, something that you must be aware of when you're looking at this search result is Amazon is basically suggesting you the keywords as per the search volume and as per the amount of people searching for those keywords on Amazon. So when somebody's typing drawer divider, it's very likely that they are going to also type organizer. Therefore, you can use this insight from Amazon and make a conclusion of the fact that drawer divider organizer will definitely be one of the high volume keywords compared to, for example, drawer divider set, drawer divider clear, drawer divider bamboo. Okay, so uh, just type in the keyword, hit space, and copying the first and the top three keywords if they make sense for our product to our list that we are creating. So I've moved drawer divider organizer, you can see on the left. Now what you can do next is just start typing characters from A to Z after typing drawer divider. So what I'll do over here is type in A and see what comes up. Now, the first keyword, as you can see over here, is drawer divider adjustable. And that is a very sensible keyword for our listing itself. Therefore, I will type that over here, drawer divider adjustable. Okay. Then let's go and type in B. It says bamboo, drawer divider bamboo. That is also a sensible keyword for our product because we are trying to sell a product which is drawer divider made with bamboo wood. Or even if it's not a bamboo wood and just any other wood, you can still use this keyword because bamboo is a kind of wood and your product is going to be still making sense to the people who are searching for drawer divider bamboo, or they could be actually searching for bamboo drawer divider. So ensure that you test both of those keywords if it's making sense to you, because you need to think about how are customers going to be searching for that keyword and in what form. So I believe most of the people would search for bamboo drawer dividers instead of drawer divider bamboo. And you can validate the search volume for these keywords using Helium10, which I will show you when we move to that tool. Let's type in C. It says clothes. I would probably skip that. E, deep. Now you can probably pick this because there is a segment in the market wherein people are searching for much higher drawer dividers for deeper drawers. So if your product is something like that, you can pick that keyword. When you type in E, it says expandable, then it is making sense because it's just another synonym to adjustable, right? So I would pick that and I would add it to my list. Like I said, it could be that people are searching for expandable drawer dividers. So that is something that you need to keep in mind for clothes, grid. So drawer divider grid is another kind of product. So it's probably not going to be very, very sensible. Pick that keyword for your product because you are not selling a grid based product. You're selling a column based product. Clothes. That's it, guys. Once you go through A to Z and you curate a list of keywords which are making sense and are relevant to your product, there you go. You have your list with you, which you can then evaluate further and decide whether you should be putting that list on in your PPC campaigns or not. Now let's quickly also observe the second primary keyword that we have in our list, which is drawer organizer, right? As you can see, when I type in drawer on Amazon, drawer organizers comes at the very top. Therefore, like I said, it's a much broader keyword. And if you hit drawer organizer, you are going to definitely see a lot of different kinds of product and not just this kind of product. So that is the catch over here, wherein you can test it, you should test it, but it's not going to be absolutely relevant to your product, like I said in the previous slide. So, but you can do the same exercise over here. You can type in drawer organizer, hit space, or hit A, and then see what keywords are popping up over here. If it's going to make sense for your product, it's definitely worth picking them right now. And then you can later on decide whether you want to keep them in your PPC campaigns or not, depending on the search volume, which we will evaluate just a second in Helium 10. So that is what we have over here. And before I move on to the second method, which is to extract the keywords from your competitors, I do want to tell you something. And that is, if you're not sure about whether the keyword is making sense for your product or not. For example, you're probably not sure that if you type in, when you type in K, you see the top keyword is drawer, divider, kitchen. If you're not sure whether you should pick that keyword or not, all you need to do is click on that, let the results populate, and see what's coming up. If the results are relevant to the product that you're selling, which for this keyword it is, right? As you can see, when we search for drawer, divider, kitchen, you see all of these products which are very much similar to our example product that we are considering for this demo, right? Therefore, based on that information, based on that visual understanding, we can definitely pick that keyword, right? So whenever you're confused, just hit enter, see what Amazon is showing you. If the results are matching your product, then you can pick that keyword. As simple as that. All right, so before we move into Helium 10 and extract the keywords from our competitors, the first step that we need to do here is to understand who is our competitors, right? So for that, what you need to do is basically type in again your primary broad keyword, hit enter, and let the results come over in front of you. And now what you need to do is identify the ones which are really selling a lot of product. Okay, the top listings on this product on this page. Okay, so what we need to do is identify 5 top listings, and to do that, simply open up your Helium 10 Chrome extension and let it populate the data. And all I like to do over here is just sort this by revenue. Okay, which is usually correct, but there are certain other things that I look at. For example, so when I sort this by revenue, I can definitely see that which are the listings on this first page which are making the maximum amount of money, right? But those products may not be identical to your listing. Therefore, you can ignore them, and you should ignore them at least at this stage, right? So I would just hover over, each and every listing over here. As you can see, the images are popping up. And by the way, guys, the link for Helium 10 for a 50% off is down below. So if you use that coupon, or if you use my link, let me know. And you also will, along with the discount that you will get, I will also get on a call with you on Zoom and help you figure this out one-to-one. So let's continue browsing over. And as you can see, all of these listings are not very relevant, right? And this is the first one, which is pulling about $47,000 worth of revenue per month as per the stats in Helium 10. And therefore, let's copy the ASIN from here and just move it here real quick. Okay. So the goal right now is to identify 5 listings which are similar to our product and they are doing well, right? And there's something else that I will show you in just a second. All right, folks. So I've copied 5 ASINs which are relevant to my product or our example product that we are trying to, you know, uh, use for this demo. But something that you must be also be aware of is that these numbers change on a day-to-day basis, right? So what you should also look at, apart from looking at the image of the product itself, is how are they doing historically. Okay, they need to be stable. Like they need to have a stable sales history over the past 1 year, 90 days, and 30 days. If they have a stable sales history, that means that they are consistently selling well, and therefore that is of value to you. If you have a product on this page, because sometimes you can have a product on this page just because they're running a campaign launching a product, and therefore they're running ads heavily, maybe not even making money, and still exist in the top ranks as per the revenue. But that would probably not be useful for you, because it could be a wrong information or a wrong listing to map against. But as you can see, for this listing, this has been selling since November, and it has a consistent graph over here. Even right now, if you see over here, since September 2nd and today is almost October 2nd, in the past month, it's been consistently selling about 40 units a day, which means it's a stable listing. And if you look at the other one that we have also saved, in the last 30 days, it has been stable. So this line that you see, the black line on the screen, which is the straight line, these graphs or these lines shouldn't be too much farther away or shouldn't be scattered all over the place. It should be close to the black line, and it should be more or less in the same ballpark. So as you can see, this is not fluctuating too much. It is always selling about 60 units a day. And even if you zoom out to all time range, you can still see that it is more or less constant, right? It is more or less constant for longer periods of time, which means that it does sell pretty well. Now, there can definitely be ups and lows over here. That is because the listing might be going out of stock. They might be changing the price substantially. They might be changing their offers and things like that. But just pay heed to this thing. Now let's move to Helium 10 and extract the keywords for these 5 or 6 listings that we have over here. All right, folks, so let's do the fun part now. And as you can see, we are inside Helium 10. All we have to do right now is copy these ASINs, okay, and go over to keyword research and go over to Cerebro, which is the reverse ASIN lookup tool in Helium 10. All right. So what this tool does is that it helps us extract keywords from our best competitors. How cool is that, right? So what you can do is you can just input the product ASINs, as you can see over here in the search bar, and this will spit out all the keywords that those products are being ranked for, and therefore you will have a very good idea about what is working for them, and therefore you can use these keywords in your listing and also to run and plan your PPC campaigns. All right, so we have already copied our ASINs. Let's just hit paste, and as you can see, we have added all the right. I guess one of them is repeated. Okay, we have 1 2 3 4 4. Let's just do with 4 ASINs. So we have these 4 ASINs. All you have to do over here is click on exact match, because we want to manually understand and specifically understand what are the keywords that these 4 listings are ranking for. Okay, so all you have to do over here is click on get keywords. You can also get competitors, and that will give you all the ASINs which are as good as these, but they are competing with these. So that's another great idea to find more competitor and relevant ASINs. Okay, but for the sake of this tutorial, we are going to be basically clicking on getting keywords. It takes a quick second for this to populate, so be patient. And voila. So as you can see over here, now you have a list of 14,000 keywords that these 4 listings are indexed for sure, and it's telling you what is working for them. So what I like to do over here is, first of all, put my position to 25 or 27. What this means is that you are going to be seeing a list of filtered keywords out of these 14,000 keywords, for which these 4 listings are ranked on page 1. So on the page 1, you usually see 1 to 30 listings, or sometimes around 50 listings, right? But it depends on the product category, but most of the times it is around 30. So that is why I'm inputting 27 over here. And something else that I like to do over here is basically click on organic. Therefore, this is going to tell me that, hey, these are the keywords for which these 4 listings are ranking for on the first page, with at least 2 keywords or 2 words in the search term, and they are ranking for those keywords on those pages organically. Okay, so that is what these settings mean. All right, let's narrow our list down and let's see how many keywords do we get now after applying this filter. So as you can see, our list is reduced by almost 50%, right? And what you need to do over here is, again, manually go over this list and understand which keywords are relevant for your product. But to simplify this even further, what we can do is we can have a minimum search volume, okay? Because we are trying to launch a product, right? Therefore, we do need to test it very quickly with a lot of audience. So what I'll do over here is just like put 500, which means that this list will be further narrowed down to the list of keywords which have at least 500 searches per month, right? So basically what we are trying to do here is narrow our list and drop it down as much as we can. So now, as you can see, it's almost dropped down by 90%. We had 8,000 results and now we have 857 results, right? So these are the keywords which probably get the most amount of search volume. Let's sort this by search volume real quick. All right, perfect. So it's very obvious that drawer organizer is coming at the top. As you can see, it has 200,000 plus searches per month, right? The second one is kitchen table, which definitely doesn't make sense to us, right? So you can remove it right over here, or you can basically download this in an Excel sheet and then remove it, right? So drawer organizer, drawer dividers, chest of drawers, probably not relevant, remove it. Home office, not relevant. RV accessories for inside, probably not relevant. Kitchen drawer organizer, relevant as we saw. Shelves for bedroom, not relevant. Bathroom shelf over toilet, not relevant. Shoe organizer, could be relevant, could not be relevant, but let's keep that for experimentation purposes. Makeup organizer could be relevant, but not very relevant, but we are going to still keep it because it has a high search volume. And sometimes when you have a doubt for a certain keyword, when you're not sure whether that keyword is making sense for your product or not, just click on this arrow over here. It will lead you to Amazon and it will show you all the products that people are looking at when they search for that keyword, right? So what you can see over here is that you don't see a lot of bamboo dividers over here. You don't see a lot of drawer divider product, just like the one we have in our demo example. In that case, I will, based on my rational decision making and observation skills, I will remove that, right? White dressers for bedroom, I will remove that. So all you have to do here is narrow down this list and just come up with a list of 50, or between 30 to 50 keywords which are highly relevant to your product. Because right now you're not trying to scale your PPC, you're not trying to get the highest number of sales, you're trying to validate the product with the right keywords and get those reviews and just kind of invest your budget in a very focused manner. Therefore, you only need the highly relevant keywords with a decent amount of search volume, right? So that's what you have to do over here. And let's do that quickly and then move to setting up our campaigns inside Seller Central. All right, so before we move forward and set up our PPC campaigns inside Seller Central, let's first understand what should be our overarching launch strategy around PPC. For this, we need to understand two important concepts. One, how much money should you be spending on PPC? How do you calculate that number? What should be your daily budget? Okay. The second most important thing is that how should you distribute the budget that you have per day when you're launching a product across the 4 campaigns that we are going to be creating. So let's understand that first. So how do we calculate how much can we spend in our PPC campaigns when we are just starting out and launching our product and setting up our initial batch of campaigns? The concept that I started talking about and I like to use when I'm doing this calculation on my end is called a PPC budget pool, which is as simple as multiplying 2 numbers. First number is the average amount of profit that you will make per unit whenever a unit is sold on Amazon. Okay, let's consider that number is $7. Let's say you're making $7 for every unit that is being sold on Amazon for your product. The second number that you need to consider is the amount of inventory that you have. Let's assume that number is 500 units. So let's say you have 500 units on Amazon. Every unit when you sell on Amazon is going to make you $7 at minimum. When you multiply those two numbers, 7 times 500, you get 3,500. This is the potential profit that you can generate when you're selling those 500 units of product on Amazon. But that's not it. Now that we have a profit estimate, what I usually like to do is remove 20% off of it. So if you remove 20% from 3,500, that amounts to 2,800. I like to remove this 20% because there are going to be other costs affiliated with your entire launch on Amazon. It could be Amazon Seller Central fees, it could be Amazon storage fees, it could be the budget that you use to run ads outside of Amazon. So now you're left with $2,800. This is what we have as a budget to allocate towards our PPC campaigns and to distribute it across the days, especially usually over a 30-day period when we are launching our product on Amazon. So when we divide 2,800 by 30, you get 93. So $93 is the amount of money that you can spend at max if you were to make a $7 profit margin per unit. Now, a $7 profit margin is a very conservative profit margin. I usually like to aim for at least $10 of profit per unit when I'm launching a product on Amazon. Therefore, what I usually like to do is have a minimum profit margin and a maximum profit margin if we are able to crack the market. So $7, let's consider the $7 profit margin and the mathematics related to that as our minimum profit margin and the minimum amount of money that we can estimate to spend on a day-to-day basis. So let's assume that the maximum profit per unit that you can aim to acquire per order from Amazon orders is $13. And if you do the same math, you will have a PPC budget pool of $5,200. Okay, and that amounts to $173 per day as your budget. So basically the goal right now is to oscillate between these two numbers depending on your selling price, depending on the profit per unit that you are getting as you are progressing in the weeks ahead during your Amazon product launch. So now let's understand how would we distribute this daily budget across the 4 campaigns that we need to create. We are going to be creating 4 different campaigns, 2 manual campaigns and 2 automatic campaigns. The 2 manual campaigns will be covering the broad and the phrase match types, and the 2 automatic campaigns will be focusing separately on product targeting and keyword targeting. Now this is just from my experience, but the way I like to distribute my budget is to put 20% in manual phrase campaign, 30% in manual broad campaign, 35% in auto keyword campaign, and 15% in auto product campaign. These estimate distributions are through my experience. Feel free to experiment around that, but this is still a good starting point because of the factors that affect these campaigns and the results. Let's again quickly do a simple math before we dive into Seller Central and set up our PPC campaigns. For the sake of simplicity, let's assume that we had a $3,000 worth of profit budget pool. And let's say that we are going to be spreading that $3,000 over the next 30 days to launch our product on Amazon, which gives us a daily budget of $100. So what I'll do is I'll put $35 in auto keyword campaigns. I would put $15 in auto product campaign. I would put $30 in manual broad campaign, and I would put $20 in the manual phrase campaign. So let's now dive into our Seller Central account and set up our campaigns as we have decided. All right, so to evaluate this list more efficiently, it is a bit inconvenient to do this over here. So what I usually like to do is download this as an Excel file and then open up that Excel like I've done over here. So now I have all the 849 keywords right in front of me over here, and then I copy this entire thing, move it to the Google Sheet in a new tab because it is a lot more convenient to have it on the cloud than on your laptop or PC wherever you're working. And once it is moved over here, once this is moved over here, all I like to do is just click Command on my laptop and maybe Control if you're using Windows 10 or Windows platform, and just click on the keywords which are relevant. Okay, because this is already sorted by search volume, as you can see, right? If not, you can add a filter over here and sort it at this point of time. So I'll basically click on everything that makes sense, and if I'm not sure, I would go to Amazon, type in the keyword, look at the results on that page. But that's all I'll do. And once I do that, I will highlight them with yellow, because what you can do after that is select a filter, add a filter, and then filter it by color, and you will only see the keywords which you have filtered down, right? And then you can move this over here in this list, right? And that's how you make your list of keywords. Now let's move to Amazon Seller Central and set up our PPC campaigns. All right, so let's get into our Seller Central account and start setting up the 4 campaigns that we need to set up when we are launching a new product and setting up the initial batch of campaigns. To do that, first log into Seller Central, okay, and hover over to your advertising tab, as you can see on the screen, and click on Campaign Manager. When you do that, if you've already created campaigns in the past, you would see your campaign dashboard. In that case, you'll have to click on Create a Campaign button. All right, guys, so Amazon is now asking you to pick a campaign type. In this masterclass, our scope is sponsored products. Sponsored brands and sponsored display ads are one level up in terms of the way you can run ads on Amazon, and these two also require you to have brand registry, okay? But right now we are basically going to only look into sponsored products, and that is the scope of this masterclass in entirety. If anybody of you wants a tutorial about sponsored brands or sponsored display, let me know. I can make that one for you as well, as I do have brand registry for one of my brands in Amazon. So just click on continue, and the first thing that you have to do over here is name your campaign. Okay, the way I like to name my campaign, and this will help you for months to come in the future. Okay, so hear me out clearly. The way I like to name my campaign is by starting with the initials of the brand name, because you might have multiple brands in your same account, right? You might be running ads for multiple SKUs under multiple brands, and that'll just get complicated when you look at your ads dashboard 3 months later, right? So what you need to do over here is type in the initials. So let's say our brand is Royal Bank Wood, okay? And in that case, I would type in RBW, and then I would type in the initials of the product itself. That would be drawer dividers, okay? If you have multiple drawer dividers, let's say you're selling a variant product, okay? Maybe you're selling one drawer divider for small drawers, one drawer divider for large drawers, and one drawer divider that is transparent, right? And you need to differentiate the campaigns and run those campaigns separately, all right? So what I like to do over here is just add something else which helps me differentiate between those variants. So let's say if this was a medium sized drawer divider, I would add medium, okay? Now don't always keep adding initials. Like I wouldn't add M, because I wouldn't be able to guess what is M later on, right? So sometimes you can just use 3 characters if it's a bit more complicated, but that's how I like to do it. After that, I like to add the keyword which would define the kind of campaign this is going to be. So first we are creating the manual broad campaign. Okay, so in this case, I would like to name it as man, or manual, for short for manual, and then you can just use B, or you can use the entire word broad. I like to be very descriptive about this because I don't want to get confused or spend my energy in thinking about what's happening inside. I should be able to look at just the campaign name and tell myself what's happening inside. That is the whole purpose of naming your campaigns correctly. So RBW, DD, MED, draw divider medium, manual broad, and then you could also differentiate this with a particular strategy. So this could be launch, and therefore I would add the word launch over here. That is it. That is the formula that you need to apply. Brand name, product with differentiation, type of campaign, and some specific keywords specific to the experiment that you're running. Okay, then set the start date to today, whatever the today's date is, or if you know that your product is going to be live 3 days from now, set that date as start date. Set the end date to nothing. Just let it run forever. You can manually turn it off. The end date is only useful sometimes when you're running a campaign specific to a period. For example, if you're running a prime deals ad campaign, in that scenario you might want to turn off the campaign as soon as prime deal is over, right? Now the daily budget thing we have already discussed. So depending on whatever number has come on your part, you need to put in that daily budget. Okay, you can be a little bit more conservative and maybe put in 50% of that if it's too high for you, but always ensure that you are trying to start with at least 20 to $25. Below that, you won't be able to get to results really quickly. So starting with 5, 10, $15 is not a great idea, definitely. Okay. So in our example, we had a $30 budget for manual broad campaign. Therefore, I'm going to be entering 30 over here. Next, what you can do here is select manual, because this is a manual campaign that we are creating. In the bidding strategy, you can just keep it to dynamic bids down only. This is the safest strategy, and this is basically the default mechanism under which Amazon's PPC system ran for years. Okay, later on in 2019 or maybe in 2018, Amazon introduced dynamic bids up and down and fixed bids. If you need a tutorial for that, let me know. But right now, for the sake of simplicity, and anyways, if you're starting out with your first campaign, you can just stick to dynamic bids down only. All right. I'm also going to be skipping over these two things at this point of time. I would make a separate video wherein we are specifically discussing the bidding strategy, as that is a bit advanced and you don't need to be doing these things when you're just starting out. Okay. But let me know in the comments, like this video, drop a comment and let me know if you need this specifically, if you're listening to me. Add group name. So this one is as simple as just kind of keeping it. Again, like what I would do over here for the sake of simplicity is just copy this entire thing and paste it over here. All right. That is because I want to anyways keep all the campaigns that I'm running separately. I don't prefer having multiple ad groups in one campaign, because then the budgets don't perform very well. Your goal should be, or the way you should be structuring your PPC anyways at a higher level, is that have as many campaigns as you can for individual purpose. Okay, don't mix it up. Okay, therefore you can have the same name as in your campaign in your ad group. Okay. All right, after this, guys, all you have to do is pick your product. Now, of course, I don't have the drawer divider listed in my account, so I'm just going to be picking a random product and just using that as a reference. So you may not be able to see that on my screen because obviously I have to blur it off, but that's all you have to do in the products section. And now you have to stick to keyword targeting, because like I said, product targeting is something of an advanced step, and therefore we are skipping that over at this point of time in manual campaigns. So that is that. And all you have to do right now is copy your list of keywords. Okay, just copy it and come over here, click on enter list, click on, or just paste it over here and select broad, because we are going to be creating a broad campaign. And what you should be doing over here is don't stick to suggested bid right now. Use a custom bid, put any random number. I mean, because this is not the final call that we are taking. So put 75 cents, click on add keywords, and then see the suggested bids over here on this site. Okay. So what you need to do over here is start with something that is not too high and yet high enough for you to get impressions. If you bid too low, for example, if you're going to be bidding 15 cents, then probably it's not going to work out for you. You might not get impressions, but you need to still start with a conservative approach. You cannot start bidding, $1, $2 per click, because then it'll basically use up and utilize your budgets very, very quickly, and your campaigns might run out in the 8th hour in the day instead of running for 24 hours, right? So the way I like to start this is with basically somewhere in between the suggested bids. But if you see the suggested bids are a bit too high and out of your planning, then you just need to stick to whatever you can start off with. And then depending on the impressions in the next 36 hours, if you see that you don't get any impressions at all, just increase this by 10, 15% at a time. So if I come back and see that, all right, I'm not getting any impressions on draw dividers for my ad. Okay. And my bid was 75 cents. So I would just come back in and add 15% as an increment to the bid that I'm already having over here. So if you add 15% to this, it would probably be somewhere around 86. And that's what I would do. But 3 days or 2 days later, when I see for a fact that I'm not getting impressions, because it's not necessary that you will not get any impressions if you're bidding lower than this number. Okay, so that's all you have to do over here, and then click on launch campaign, and voila, your campaigns will be ready to go, right? So your campaign is ready. You can review everything over here. You can review your bids over here. You can review the number of keywords over here. You can review the name over here. And if everything looks good, that's it. You just have to repeat this process for the phrase match. Okay. Now let's move on to setting up our automatic campaigns. All right, guys, so finally we are here with the final bit of this video where we will learn about creating the two automatic campaigns, one targeting products and the second one targeting keywords. Now, if you're not aware about the two different kinds of targeting within automatic campaigns, do check out the part 1 video where I've broken it down in depth for you, because this is something new that has been updated by Amazon Seller Central in 2020. So do check it out. All right, so to do this, you have to do the same thing. When you're on the screen, click on continue on sponsored products and name your campaign. So we are going to be naming our campaign in a very similar fashion because it's the same thing, the same brand, the same product. And I would write auto over here. I would also write product over here, or just prod, just to identify that this automatic campaign is specifically just to identify that this automatic campaign is specifically going to be inclined towards products. And then I would just add launch because we are in the test phase right now. We're trying to test what's happening. So that's going to be the name of our campaign. The budget is going to be, for product campaign, as we discussed, it's going to be $15, just because this is usually not the best performing campaign at times, but we don't want to miss the opportunity to test this, right? Therefore, let's begin with creating that, and let's keep the targeting to auto. Let's keep it to default bids down only at this point of time, and copy the campaign name, paste it in the ad group name as well, and select your product over here. And all you have to do after that is come over here and select the second option. Don't keep it to the first option. Select the second option, which is set bids by targeting group. This is where you can control and distribute your product targeting and keyword targeting in two separate automatic campaigns. Okay, so what we are going to be doing over here is that in the previous part, we've already looked at the definitions of these 4 different kinds of variables. So what are we going to do over here is that not turn them off. Okay, we're not going to be turning them off because that is going to be counterproductive for us. But we are going to be, because this is a product campaign, we are going to be turning this down substantially. So I'm just going to be bidding 7 cents for close match and lose match, because these are the 2 types of matches for keyword targeting within automatic campaigns. And I'm going to leave the substitutes and complement bids to 75 cents. All right. Again, depending on the impressions that we get in the next 36 hours, you need to increase or decrease that. All right. So that is the idea here. And all you have to do here is press launch campaign and your campaigns is set. The only thing that we will do differently when setting up auto campaign for keyword targeting is that make these 75 cents like that and make these to 7 cents. Okay, which basically is going to deprioritize what we do not want this campaign to focus upon, right? You have to do the same thing, and the only thing that will change over here for the keyword targeting automatic campaign is that I would probably use the word KW here to identify that as a keyword type automatic campaign. All right, so that is it, guys. We have successfully understood how will we be creating 4 campaigns when we're just launching our PPC campaigns for a newly launched product, right? I hope that helped you. I hope you followed along. Do rewind the video and do it, like review it once again when you're actually setting up your campaigns, so that you can have this ready. And if you have any questions, drop them down below in the comments. If I missed something, if you need any specific clarification for a certain thing, drop them down below in the comments, and I will personally answer each and every one of you. Thank you so much. All right, folks. So that was it for this video. We have identified how can we find our keywords. We have identified how can we budget our PPC campaigns, and we have also set up our 4 primary PPC campaigns that we do need to set up when we are just launching our products on Amazon. So what's next? Let your campaigns run for at least 5 to 7 days before changing anything. Because we have already set a budget, we know our numbers very well. You don't have to panic about the expense that you're getting, because initially the most important thing that you need to do is to gather data based on which you will optimize your keywords, remove certain keywords, add certain keywords to manual campaigns and things like that. If you want me to cover those aspects for this product, let me know down below in the comments, and I will create a third part wherein we will dive in deep about the basics of PPC campaign optimization and understand how do we create more campaigns, remove certain keywords, add negatives, and optimize our budget to get a better ACoS and a better TACoS when you're running a PPC campaign. Just to give you a heads up, something else that you can do is also set up product targeting campaigns, okay, wherein you can start showing up your product in other people's or other listings detail pages, therefore grabbing the attention of the sellers who are looking at your competitor products and scaling up your sales. But that is a bit advanced, like I said in the part 1. If you still need a tutorial for that, let me know down below in the comments. Alright guys, so I hope you found value. I hope you learned a great deal in this video. Check out the part 1 of the PPC Fundamentals Masterclass if you haven't, and also stay tuned and look forward to the listing optimization video which I will be creating in the future. There's a lot of value that is coming forth in this channel, so stick around, subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, and also feel free to connect with me on Instagram or any other platform. My handle everywhere is Rish, R-Y-K, and if you use my coupon for purchasing Helium10 or Jungle Scout, let me know in the DMs on Instagram, and I would be happy to get on a 15-minute call with you to help you with whatever aspects you need help with running your e-commerce business on Amazon. I will see you next week in the next video. Till then, take care and keep crushing it. Adios.